I read a comment that was spot on, which goes, freedom of speech isn't about protecting the speech of people you agree with, it's about protecting the speech of people you don't agree with. Elon Musk is not a journalist, nor does he claim to be, but he is a huge advocate for freedom of speech and being for the people. And his recent actions only prove that. But before we start, sit back, grab a drink or a snack, and let's start from the beginning to see who Elon Musk is. Elon Musk was born on June 28th of 1971 in South Africa. He was the oldest of 3 siblings, and at the age of just 10, he started teaching himself computer programming, and by the age of 12, he sold his first video game. By the age of just 12. The game was called Blastar, and it was a trivial game where you had to destroy the other ships to gain points. Now obviously back in the 80s, the game was very basic with only a few commands, but he was able to get the game published in a magazine, which he received $500 for it. You could argue and say this is what jump-started it all for Elon. By 1990, he already had dual bachelor degrees in physics and economics. He also holds an honorary doctorate in design and an honorary doctorate in aerospace engineering. He then moved to California to attend Stanford for a PhD in applied physics in 1995. But he quit within just a few days to pursue his own interest in avenues of technology and entrepreneurship. Dude, this guy was all over the place doing crazy shit. Like, all you gotta do is believe and it can happen. Later that year, he worked with his brother Kimball Musk to start a software company called Zip2, which provided services to high-end newspaper clients such as the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune. After the successful sale of Zip2 to Compaq in 1999 for $300 million, he went straight into his next endeavor. Bro, 300 million, bro, sheesh. An online financial service called X.com, which shortly after acquired a money transfer service called PayPal, which we all still know about to this day or have used it in the past. Elon began focusing his efforts exclusively on building this online payment service. The success of PayPal led Elon to sell his stock in the company to eBay for $165 million. Bro, this guy was up almost $600 million by the age of just 28. Shit's crazy, bro. Then he wants to go out and splurge a little bit now. So he goes out and buys a 1 of 65 McLaren F1 for a mere $1 million.
Most people thought the internet was going to be a fad.
Wow, I can't believe it's actually here. It's pretty wild, man. This is definitely very cool. I like it a lot.
Congratulations.
Just 3 years ago, I was showering at the Y and sleeping on the office floor. And now, obviously I've got a $1 million car and quite a few creature comforts.
It's just a moment in my life.
Which, by the way, these cars are worth over $12 million today. Now let's fast forward just a few years to 2002, where he invested his millions in his third company called Space Exploration Technologies, or what is known as SpaceX today. Within just 7 years, the company designed the Falcon line of spacecraft vehicles and the Dragon line of multi-purpose spacecraft, and they were making history with their privately funded innovations. SpaceX even received contracts from NASA to send cargo to the International Space Station. I'm telling you, man, you really just gotta believe in yourself and it can happen. So far, he's already went from making computer games in his bedroom at just age 12 to now helping NASA out. Now let's move on to Tesla Motors, which was founded with the mission of designing and building electric cars. Elon became the chairman in 2004 after taking on an active role in the design of the Roadster. He went on to become the CEO of the entire company, a role that we all know he still holds today. Now that we know the lore of Elon Musk, let's start getting into some more spicy things, and let's fast forward to 2022, where he purchased Twitter for a whopping $44 billion, dude. Mind blowing. Like, shit, dude. Talk about wanting to oppress the freedom of speech by putting such a high price tag on an app. But this is where Elon began to become a huge advocate for the freedom of speech, especially after Donald Trump was banned from Twitter just a few weeks before his possible second term, which he knew that he had to do something. I read a comment that was spot on, which goes, freedom of speech isn't about protecting the speech of people you agree with, it's about protecting the speech of people you don't agree with. Which at the time, Twitter was just going on a spree of suppressing a lot of freedom of speech. Here is Elon's exact words for why he purchased Twitter.
That was one of the things about the old Twitter was the propaganda and the adherence to whatever the CDC was saying and the dismissing of legitimate scientists, guys like Jay Bhattacharya from Stanford, and legit guys.
Yes.
And they were suppressing them and even banning them. They banned Alex Berenson. I mean, it was wild.
All Twitter was basically an arm of the government.
Yeah.
It's a state publication is the way to think of all Twitter. It's a state publication.
And was the justification from their perspective that they are progressive liberals, they have the right intentions, it's important that they stay in power, the progressive liberals stay in government and power, because this is their...
There was basically oppression of any views that would even, I would say, be considered middle of the road. But certainly anything on the right. I'm not talking about like far right. I'm just talking mildly right. The people like Republicans were suppressed at 10 times the rate of Democrats. Now that's because old Twitter was fundamentally controlled by the far left.
Also to promote dialogue, which he said was lost because of the way media fueled and catered to polarized extremes. He goes on to say that Twitter will be a warm and welcoming place under his ownership. On July 13th of 2024, former President Donald Trump was involved in an assassination attempt. This is also the very beginning of when Elon Musk dove headfirst into political agenda and endorsed Donald Trump, saying this.
Now, you have to admire that Trump, after getting shot with blood streaming down his face, it could have been a second shooter, who knows? Nonetheless, was a fist pumping fight. Yep. And if you want a leader who's going to deal with some very, very tough cookies out there, who's going to deal with a Putin or Kim Jong-un, or they'll think twice about messing with Trump.
He even went on stage with Donald Trump at his rallies and has been seen in countless photos with Trump in recent months. The Democrats, the far left, and most of the liberal media has branded him as public enemy number 2, with Trump obviously being number 1. You see, in the beginning, they loved him until they didn't. Once he bought Twitter, turned it into X, and made it clear that he was against most of the censorship that they were pushing, and for the free speech he opposed, many on the left turned against him with a vengeance. The often unhinged hostility towards Musk from people on the left is disturbing. When just a few years ago they were buying his cars, to boasting about them on social media, to calling his company SpaceX and Tesla the future, which by the way, they are right about that. Now they're hurling derogatory language at him and having mental breakdowns while also wanting to cancel all of his companies, SpaceX, Tesla, now the hated X, and also even wanting to get him arrested. You can argue that Elon is a genius in business, from creating a computer game at age 12 to starting PayPal and it's still being used today, to going on to become a CEO of an EV car company, to even flying rockets into outer space and even aiding NASA in getting cargo to the astronauts, to being a political genius by spending $44 billion just to protect the freedom of speech and give both parties zero censorship. Like, you have to remember, they banned Donald Trump a few weeks out from his possible second term. All in all, whatever Elon Musk gets into, it's going to be worth talking about. Elon Musk has shown that with vision, persistence, and a little controversy, that the rules of the game are constantly evolving. Thanks for watching. This video took me 3 hours on the script. I'd estimate about 5 to 6 hours editing the video and another 2 to 3 hours just editing the thumbnail. So it would really mean a lot if you could like this video. Also, I really hope to see you in my next one. Peace.